Wow, check out Bitcoin. Are they's Mia? New Yorkers, you should have voted for Curtis Sliwa. Should have voted for Curtis. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But nope, you went with the other guy. Check this out, you guys. Check this out.
The situation you're referring to is indeed a serious issue. Due to a severe shortage of shelter space in New York City, some asylum seekers have been forced to live in their cars. These cars are parked outside the Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, which serves as the city's main intake site for thousands of asylum seekers from the U.S. border. The area has been dubbed a new Ellis Island due to the large influx of migrants. In recent weeks, at least 4 migrants who were evicted from city shelters were spotted sleeping in cars just feet from the hotel. One of the migrants, a Venezuelan named Hugo Rafael Ramirez, stated that there's no place in the hotel as it's full. Another migrant, Yovani Nieves, also from Venezuela, has been living in his car since the hotel turned him away. This situation underscores the urgent need for more comprehensive solutions to address the migrant crisis. It's a reminder that while the city is doing its best to accommodate the influx of asylum seekers, more needs to be done to ensure everyone has a safe place to stay.
So essentially, in summary, it turns out that the city is running out of space, running out of hotel space, running out of shelter space. There are way too many people coming to New York City, and there's just not enough space to go around. And what is happening now, based on my understanding, is that due to the lack of space, due to the scarcity, the city is now focusing more of its resources on helping migrants, in quotes, asylum seekers, helping them get first dibs. Or is it first bids? Hey Jimmy, what do they call that thing when you get first dibs? Like when you first show up? Yeah, it's like first come, first serve. So they're focusing all of their resources now on helping the migrants with families. So if you are a migrant and asylum seeker in quotes, and you decided to come to New York City, if you are a family member with a child, then you get first dibs. But if you are a single able-bodied adult male and you don't have any, how shall we say, dependents, then you don't get first dibs. You're gonna get eventually kicked out. See ya, sorry, sayonara, have a good time. But hey, if you are a mom, a migrant mother with children, hey, come to New York City, we have space for you. And yeah, that is the battle going on right now. Some of the able-bodied adult males who don't have any dependents are being kicked out of the shelter system because they're running out of space. All days, what are we gonna do, you guys? What are we gonna do? We have to make sure all of the migrants and the asylum seekers, in quotes, get a fair share of the housing of New York City. They deserve a home. They deserve a house. They deserve an apartment. They deserve the best that New York City's money can buy. The migrants, regardless of their status, whether they have dependents or not, they deserve a home. They deserve an apartment with New York City taxpayer-funded apartments. They deserve a plush apartment. They deserve all the amenities possible? Are they a smear? Are they a smear? Are they a smear? We must make sure all of the migrants and the asylum seekers, regardless of status, regardless of their age, regardless of their dependents, every migrant who comes to New York City must get an apartment paid fully by the taxpayers of New York City. We must make sure all of these people are educated, attending public schools, attending college, getting an apartment, getting a job. We must take care of all the migrants and, in quotes, asylum seekers, because that's who we are. We are a sanctuary city. We love the migrants. We love shelling and shelling and shelling. We love spending all of our money on the migrants because we have to help the migrants. Forget about the New York City residents who are American citizens who are homeless. Forget about them. We have to take care of the migrants first. Forget about that American veteran who fought in Vietnam, who's living on the streets of LA. Forget about him. We have to get housing for the migrants. We have to get housing for the asylum seekers. Or they smear. Forget about the American citizen who's homeless on the streets of LA and New York City and Chicago. We have to focus all our resources on the migrants. We have to help the migrants first. Forget about the American citizen. We have to help the migrants first. So yeah, that's what's going on. And the migrants aren't happy that the city is saying, sorry, folks, we're running out of space. We can't continue to pay for your housing because New York City's going broke. Play the clip, Johnny.
As of 2023, New York City has spent a significant amount on housing migrants. The city has already spent $1.45 billion in fiscal year FY 2023 to provide shelter, food, and services to tens of thousands of asylum seekers. However, as the city nears a total of 100,000 asylum seekers arriving since spring of 2022, without further support, new cost estimates based on current trends show that the city has the potential to spend upwards of $12 billion over 3 fiscal years, FY23, FY24, and FY25, without policy changes. This cost is so extraordinary that Mayor Adams says he must cut city services to afford it too. The cost of housing migrants is estimated at $4.3 billion between April of 2022 and July 2024. These figures underscore the significant financial impact of the migrant crisis on the city's budget. It's a complex issue that requires a multifaceted approach, including state and federal aid, to address effectively.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, which has the potential, in my opinion, to cause the city to go broke and maybe file for bankruptcy protection. This is serious, folks. That is a lot of money being spent. Let's ask another question, because this I got to know. Play the clip, Johnny.
As of 2023, New York City is facing a significant budget deficit. Mayor Eric Adams' projections had the city ending 2023 with a surplus of just $1.5 billion and facing a deficit of $1.5 billion in 2024. However, the official projection in November 2023 stated that city spending is expected to exceed revenues in the next 3 fiscal years by $20 billion. These figures highlight the financial challenges that New York City is currently facing. It's a complex issue that requires careful management and strategic planning to address effectively. Please note that these figures are based on the information available as of 2023 and the actual figures may vary.
It's my opinion. This is strictly my opinion. Based on the figures, if I understand the figures correctly, it's my opinion that this migrant crisis, this asylum seeker crisis, in quotes, this crisis of the migrants, in my opinion, like I said, has the potential to bankrupt New York City as we know it. And that's my opinion, if I understand the figures correctly. I don't know for sure, it's just my opinion. Like I said, it's my opinion. All of this could have been avoided had Eric Adams took a playbook page from New Jersey. Had he done what New Jersey's doing with the migrant crisis, all of this could have been avoided. But nope. You had to vote for Eric. Should have voted for Curtis. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But nope. You had to go with the other guy. Had to go with the other guy. Oh, and a few closing statements. I don't know what the hell the migrants are thinking. I don't know what the hell the asylum seekers, in quotes, are thinking. They think they could come to America. They think they could come to New York City and be afforded all of the goodies that ordinary American New York citizens don't get. It's just mind-blowing. Look, before I moved to New York City for career opportunity, I lived out west, right? And living out west, I've always seen homeless people. And majority, in fact, all of them at one point, were all pretty much American citizens. Homeless vets, American citizens down on their luck, living in cars, living on the streets. Like, go down to Skid Row. Majority of those people are all American citizens. Right? But the city's not like bending over backwards to put them in hotels. But yet, Mayor Eric Adams, the greatest mayor of New York history, is bending over backwards to like find hotel space for all of the migrants and, in quotes, asylum seekers. But yet, for regular American citizens, homeless vets, homeless families, all American citizens, American-born citizens, are living on the streets of LA, San Francisco, Chicago. And yet, the city doesn't have, they're not like making a concerted effort to get them off the streets. Like I said, I lived in California for many, many years, for most of my life, except for a few years in New York City. And when I moved to New York City, I did see a lot of homeless people living on the streets, living in the subways, living in the trains, roaming around, living on the streets. And even then, prior to the migrant crisis, there was still not enough shelter space and hotel space to house the American citizens of New York City's homeless population. Even back then, the city was struggling to find shelter for the New York City citizens who are American citizens who are homeless. Unfortunately, American homeless folk, American citizens, don't get the proper housing they need, but yet the migrants, everybody has to bend over backwards for them. Right? And the same thing in California, same thing in LA, same thing in San Francisco. You hardly see anybody bending over backwards to help put that homeless veteran who served in Vietnam or served in Iraq off the streets and into a hotel or into some kind of housing. But if you're a migrant and you say you're seeking asylum, oh, a city like New York City is going to bend over backwards until it runs out of your money, you see. And then that's the game changer. Hey, look, I'm all for the asylum seekers. If you want to come to New York City, and the city says, sorry folks, we got no more money. Hey, you're welcome. Hey, you are welcome to come to New York City. You're welcome to come to LA. But don't expect us to give you shelter. Live on the streets with the rest of us. Hey, I'm perfectly fine with like asylum seekers from Venezuela living on the streets in their cars. Hey, join the rest of us.